What's up, everybody? Today I want to do a tip on bar chords. Now, there are many movable chord forms out there. If you're a jazz whiz, this isn't going to thrill you a whole lot, but if you're a beginning to intermediate player, this could be helpful. My students always want to know what is the trick to bar chords, and I don't really think there is one, other than to say that when I see most of my students first trying them, they're trying to really flatten their finger down just like a pancake, just flat down on it. And then when you're trying to do the rest of the chord, your reach is sort of diminished by the fact that you're trying to squeeze and press like this. And what you really want to do is get up more on the side of your first finger. And you can see as soon as I do that, it brings my palm forward, and then that enhances my reach with the rest of my hand, and it lets me get more on my fingertips. So not this. Let your elbow come in, your palm come forward, get on the side of your finger, and try to approach it that way. So I'm just going to hit the real fundamental ones and talk about this idea of the most fundamental chord shape on guitar, which is really this shape. And it's here when rooted on the fifth string or the A string, it's B minor, and people often learn this chord first as that. Or if I root the same exact shape off of the first fret of the sixth string or the low E string, it's F major. So the reason that same shape is both minor and major when rooted on different strings is just because of the way the guitar is tuned. Most of your strings are tuned to a fourth till you get to the B string, which is tuned to a major third, and then back to a fourth. So because that one string is tuned differently, this same shape when rooted on a different string becomes a different chord. It's, again, minor when rooted on the A string and major when rooted on the low E string. This is B minor if it's at the second fret. If it's at the third fret, it's C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, D sharp minor, E minor, and so on. So learning these few shapes, if you just learn the notes on the low E and the A string, it's really learning many chords because you can just put them anywhere. First, let's go through the basic variations of the A string root or the fifth string root chords. So first we started with B minor. If I want to make that major, I just have to raise the third of the chord. So in this case, that's our third, so that needs to become this note. So to do that, we're going to play with a bar with our third finger. And now I'm just trying to play just the middle four strings. There's our major. So we had B minor, B major, and then we've got B major 7. So to get the major 7, you have to get the second octave of the chord. Here, if you lower that by a half step, that gives you your major 7. So then you got still just the middle four strings. Then you could get your dominant 7 by lowering that seventh yet another half step. And there are a bunch of ways you can play dominant 7 chords, but I'm just hitting the ones that are most directly related to that original chord shape, chord form. So there's your dominant. Whenever someone says just a 7 chord, like if they said B7, that means dominant. And then the last one would be your minor 7. So let's go back to our minor regular B that we started with, B minor. If you take off your pinky finger, you're revealing in your bar there the minor 7th. And then you can actually add your pinky back at the 5th fret of the high E, and that's still B minor 7. So now if we look at those same chord forms off of the 6th string or the low E, we started with our F major. If we want to make that become minor, we just pick up our second finger. So F major, F minor. We could go F minor 7 by picking up our pinky finger and revealing the minor 7th. We could then add it back at the 4th fret of the B, still just a different voicing of the minor 7. So we did major, minor 7, and we got to get dominant 7 and major 7. So to get dominant 7, let's go back to our regular F major, pick up your pinky finger. There's your regular 7 or dominant 7. You can also, again, add it back at the 4th fret of the B. And then the major 7/6 string root is sort of the weirdest one, because you've got to go from, we start again relating it to our F major, you got to get basically got to get that note. So to do that, we're going to come from this, we're going to go, okay, pick everybody up, put your pinky on the 3rd fret of the A, put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D, and put your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the G. That one can be a little tough for people at first. There's another way you can do this where you'll go, okay, drop it, and now 1st finger, 1st fret. Get your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the D, your 4th finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and then your 2nd finger on the 1st fret of the B. And now, the trick to this one though is that in this case, in first position, it wouldn't matter, because if I played the A string open here, that's actually in the chord. But if you're anywhere else, that won't be true. So what you want to do with this is let your 1st finger, let the edge of it touch the A string and mute it out. So there you have it. If you learn those basic 5 shapes for the 5th string and 5 shapes for the 6th string, then if you just learn the notes on the low E and the notes on the A, then you know how to play all those different chord forms of any note. Good luck. Happy practicing.